Let me pass on now the floor to Anabel Gonzalez, whom you know already because she was on the first panel. Can you please share with us the World Bank Group new practices and how you'll be engaging with the private sector on the continent and on a broader view on Africa's trade and competitiveness, please? Yeah.
Thank you. I want to bring back some of the ideas that I mentioned before. In particular, this idea that we should both celebrate Africa's decades of growth, but we also need to consider that for this growth to be sustainable, in spite of the increasing headwind challenges, it is important to put in place some integrated solutions. And let me share with you an example of the kind of work that we have been doing, for instance, in Rwanda, which in close collaboration with the World Bank Group has made significant headway in improving its investment climate. But we are also working with Rwanda on trade, on competitiveness, on entrepreneurship, on innovation, because it is that combination of solutions that will result in investments, in jobs, and growth. And very importantly, we're also looking at the regional integration angle, which is crucial for a landlocked country. So let me mention two projects that I think will be relevant. One is we have recently published in collaboration with the East African community, the EAC Common Market Scorecard 2014. The objective of the scorecard is to assess progress toward the development of a common market in capital, services, and goods across the partner states of the East African community. The EIC is a great objective, which, when fully implemented, will result in much greater intra-regional economic activity. What are now 5 countries with different trade and non-trade barriers will become one single market, a huge investment opportunity for the EAC private sector and for foreign investors. And here, I'm very glad to report that we have begun to see very impressive results. I was in Rwanda just a couple of weeks ago, and in discussing with the Minister of the Eastern African Community, we learned that transit time from the port of Mombasa to Kigali has been reduced from 21 days to 5 days. And this is an impressive achievement that can have a very positive impact on trade and on investment. Now, on a smaller scale, but also a good example of sector-specific work, we recently helped the Rwandan government approve a reform of its pricing for green leaf tea. We supported that specific reform because we identified that tea and horticulture more broadly was one area where Rwanda could build its competitiveness, and we looked at what were the key that would yield significant results. The new mechanism is expected to increase the earnings of about 60,000 tea farmers and give Rwandan tea a competitive edge. So this reflects some of the integrated solutions that we are trying to put together in our practice, our team, the Trading Competitiveness Global team, and different parts of the World Bank and IFC have also come together to help governments develop dynamic and resilient economies, expand market opportunities, and enable private sector initiative. Now, if you come to think about it, Africa has done a number of things right. One indicator, for instance, is the number of investment climate reforms that sub-Saharan Africa has registered of lately. In FY13, for example, we counted 64 investment climate reforms in 26 countries. Based on these reforms, many countries in the region have made strong advances in the doing business ranking. Many of them have also moved forward across a wider set of competitiveness measures, such as those measured by the World Economic Forum Global Competitiveness Index. Since 2006, countries in sub-Saharan Africa have advanced further on both the Doing Business Report and the Global Competitiveness Index than the global average. Now, there are also, and I probably would say if one has to identify what has not gone right yet, I would say that probably Africa is the continent with the greatest unexploited opportunities. It is both the continent with the highest return on investment and the highest level of investment risks. So we operate in the poorest countries in Africa. In Chad, for example, where exploiting some of these opportunities can impact many lives. Until now, economic growth in Chad has mainly been driven by the oil sector. Agriculture is one of the most promising non-oil sectors and the second source of export earnings in Chad. In collaboration with the government, we have identified the meat value chain specifically as a potential source of growth. To stimulate private investment in the meat sector, we are also working on targeted reforms aiming to improve the business environment, at the rehabilitation of critical public infrastructure, to support the improvement of technical capabilities of workers, and to support also the development of micro projects in the sector. In 1970, Chad was one of the main meat exporters in Central Africa. Today, it only exports live cattle. With this integrated set of solutions, we are aiming to help Chad find its place in the global value chain space. Let me say that I think that more broadly, finding Africa's space in the global value chain is very relevant, because today a lot of the integration in the global economy takes place through global value chains. And we were in Ethiopia as well a couple of weeks ago, and it's very interesting to see that I think that Ethiopia has a great potential to integrate into the light manufacturing in several areas. And we've seen this in the textile and apparel sector, in the leather and manufacturing. And one can discuss, I think it is a question of, yes, improving productivity in agriculture, yes, identifying new drivers of growth, and for instance, the construction sector can certainly be one, but it is also about manufacturing. Africa today is except for a few countries, is not really connected to global value chains in the area of manufacturing. And I think that the potential is there. Again, I saw the will of the Ethiopian government. We are working with them in building the infrastructure, special economic zones. They have the human resources. They have the energy. They will have energy very soon and at good prices, I hope. So there are, I think, opportunities that one needs to look at in greater detail. Many challenges as well, but this one of how to integrate Africa into global value chains is one that we need to continue thinking about because it is the way forward in terms of integrating with the global economy.
No, thank you very much. And
doing business in Africa, you can't afford to be without Africa Investor.